Chamisa hoye. Sorry, mkomo wangu mkoma fatso. Why ndaimba song iyi? Ndikuti tirangarire kwatakabva. Cause kune vatakabva nawo kumashure. Isusu tisati zvaro. Struggle makaitaka kare 20 years ago. Vakatengesa. Takauya 2022. Tikafamba nevamwe vatitengesa. Nhasi tiri pano. Titovhura new chapter. Tichafamba nevamwe. Asi vechidiki achavhumire vatengesi. So ndakoti nditaure ndisati ndataura. Chamisa hoye. Ndakoti titaure izvozvo sevechidiki. Kuti task yavakatipa kudefenda musangano. Musangano una leader mutungamiri. Mutungamiri ndichamisa. The President Chamisa. Vanouya vachima vana chacha nevamwe vava havasi vedu. Saka from council level kuma MP and beyond vatinenge chichinzwa vachiimba munhu asiri Chamisa tichadhila nawo sevechidiki. Hakuna wachatendera achipinda muchitsva asina kuchena nekuti ndiwe wadhileya struggle inoyi. Saka tibvume pamusoro meya. Ndakoti nditangire ipapo kuitira kuti tizive kuti tikuenda kupi. Ndinofara chose ndoda kukwazisa ma-councillors emuno mu-Midlands. Ndinoremekeza ma-MPs ari pakati pedu. Ndichiremekeza leadership women iri pano. Madzimai hoye, vana mama hoye, ahoy my youth ahoy, ahoy my youth ahoy. Battalion riripo pano, vana baba hoye. Tinotenda, tinofara kuva pano. Tauya sevana venu vechidiki. Handina kuya sakhansela, tauya sevana venu vechidiki. Tinoziva kuti hakuna imba isina amai. So pakaitika chituko chakadai vana venu vasipa zvishwame zvakanaka. So tauya in full confidence and hope kuti tauya kuzosapota amai vedu. Because tinavo kumusangano vanotiratidza gwara ratofamba navo. Havana kutengesa sevamwe vaya. Vanoziva gwara. That's why tiri panapo tichitaura in confidence kuti tauya kuzosapota amai. Saka naizvozvo handina kufurisa nguva. Ndachiporesa. Isusu tinotaura but maita basa siyabonga kakulu. I pray and hope that this event ichafamba zvakanaka. Patinodzokera kumashure toziva kuti musangano una leader ndi President Chamisa. Ngani hande tonoruka timosiya nyaya dzekutukana magroup, timosiya nyaya dzekupomerana mhosva, timofocusa nekubuilda nekuti ma-leaders they come and go but the struggle will remain with the oppressed. Saka tavazo vachiti varuda ma-alliance. Chamisa ngabatele nana ningi. Tati zvijeke ka. The people that own this struggle are the oppressed. So the greatest alliance yatinogona kuita ndeyokubatana ne-the oppressed vanhu. Saka kana vari vema-political party vachizviti ivo ndivo varikuda kushanda namutungamiri ngavadzokere muvanhu. Vanhu vachakonfirma kuti tifambe nawo kana kuti kwete. Tinotenda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello viewers, thank you for having us on Change Radio News Review, where we talk about the trending news that was trending during the week. Today we are talking about the first topic that we are going to discuss is about the hope for change. The people of Zimbabwe, they still have got hope for President Chamisa as the only survivor who will come and save the Zimbabwean people who are suffering and oppressed for more than 4 decades. So as you are aware, since the President Nelson Chamisa told citizens when he was in Gutu, when he told citizens to go and organize themselves in preparation of the new citizen vehicle that will lead us to new Zimbabwe. So we have witnessed the youth traveling around the country in all 10 provinces, led by Councillor Bruce Moyo and other youth, including women and men who have been in the struggle for some time, who have been in struggle, who are always supporting President Chamisa's vision. But the big call that is made by the youth, by the people, is people, they are sick and tired of sellout or traitors in this struggle. If we are aware, since the struggle started in the late 90s up to today, the struggle was delayed by sellouts because there were people who always come to join this struggle to benefit financially in this struggle. So at the end, they sold the struggle to the oppressor. So the youth are calling for youth to unite, and for people who share the same vision and goals and aspirations of President Advocate Nelson Chamisa. And the citizens are calling and are saying no to unity with the traitors, no to unity with the any so-called fake political parties or imposters. As you are aware, there are people who come and join the movement. If they fail to get position, they go out, they form their own political parties which are aligned to the oppressor, and they start to attack, especially the advocate Nelson Chamisa. When it comes to election time, 6 months before the election time or a year before election time, they started to say, let's sit down now, let's sit down and unite the political parties, because they want positions. They are not there to fight for change. They are not fighting for people independence. So the youth are saying the unity that is needed in this struggle now is for the citizens, it's for the oppressed Zimbabweans, who will unite and support the president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, as the leader of this initiative. I thank you.
Thank you, Champion. I think let me begin by welcoming everyone. It has been a long time since I've been here. A lot of ups and downs that have been going on. But of course, the struggle continues with the comrades that will be available. But as my brother was saying, the call was made. The call was made by Advocate Nelson Chamisa during the Nyaradzo ceremony in Gutu, where he said, begin to mobilize, begin to do something. Everyone was encouraged to begin to prepare for the new. And that's the reason why you're seeing the youth, one of our youth, Bruce Moyo, a councillor in Mlawayo, was present, was there in Gutu, and he had a discussion with the champion in chief, and given strict or straight express instructions to begin to mobilize the youth. And that's why you are seeing him doing what he's doing. He just didn't wake up and started talking to the nation in his youth interface rallies or meetings that he has been having. As you have seen, they have gone to Bulawayo. They actually started in Bulawayo, went to Matabeleland South, went to Masvingo, went to Mutare, Manicaland Province, and last week they were in Marsh Central. This week they were in Midlands, as you saw on the video that was played here. That means work has already begun. The youth are already mobilizing. Some people are already doing something. So the question is, what are you doing yourself? Have you begun mobilizing? I believe in people who do something. I think there is a video that we have to play for you. You can go ahead and play the video. There is no volume.
Chamisa, we end there. Ozabuya kube any language which doesn't reflect the president as Hamelan. I am glad I'm speaking these are my councillors and my MPs at Akon. Why it must be on record? South Africa a much notice about jail. We are building from zero. But not anymore. Food. And I'm speaking this, I'm declaring because now they speak Chamisa when it is fashionable. Now so we cut also with the Banana Pube straight, they want to identify themselves. We won't allow that. Let him move
There was Councillor Bruce there speaking, as you are hearing him, that's the language that the youth are speaking. They are reflecting the pain that is in the people, that the struggle has been delayed, freedom has been delayed by people that sell out. And that's one of the messages, one of the many messages that they are preaching. The other message, of course, is encouraging everyone to begin to do something wherever you are. And of course, telling the people that the best foot forward for Zimbabweans, for us, is we are here, is Advocate Nelson Chamisa. He is making that very clear. So the work has begun wherever you are. Let's begin to do something. Let's begin to mobilize. Let's begin to prepare. That's the only way forward. If we sit in our groups fighting each other, hate speech everywhere, you see it everywhere, that's not going to get us anywhere. What is going to get us somewhere is hard work, is people rolling up their sleeves, putting on their boots, and hitting the ground, running, working. Zimbabweans, we are good at talking, but when it comes to work, it's only a few people that will end up doing the work. But when we say, let's go for a verbal fight somewhere on Twitter, on Facebook, you'll see all Zimbabweans there. But when we say, let's now do the work that will give us what we want, which is freedom, which is getting President Chamisa in the State House, it is only a few people that will commit. So let's get to work, gentlemen, ladies. The young people are speaking, and let's heed the call to act. Thank you. The next topic.
Right. The next topic is about the issue of our STY colleagues, Jamason Timba and the Avondale 65, who have been incarcerated since 16 June 2024, when they attended African Child commemoration at Jamason Timba's house. Since then, they never get any freedom, and their justice is delayed, meaning justice delayed is justice denied. Since they were arrested, they applied for a bail, but their bail was not granted. The state refused to grant them bail. Their case kept on going on trial, and during the processes, as you are aware, there was a lot of delays. At one time, the investigation officer didn't appear to attend the court session, and the reason was that his wife was pregnant and he was not feeling well. And there are many sessions which were postponed. So you find out those people have been incarcerated for a long time. Their freedom, the government is acting, the regime is heartless and shameless. So they attended the judgment day after both the prosecutor and the defense give their submissions. So we expected a judgment on Monday. That was on 11 November. But the magistrate said he needs time to examine the submissions made by the prosecutors and the defense. And she said she will give a judgment on the 22nd of November, meaning Jamason Timba and the other 65 will remain in prison for 159 days on the 22 November. So those guys have been incarcerated, they have been detained, and their rights were abused by the regime. As you know, those are family men and women, and they've got their families to take care of. And you find out some of these people, their lives are destroyed by the time they spend in incarceration. As you are aware, most of the people in Zimbabwe, they rely on self-employed jobs. So if you spend more than 5 months incarcerated without committing any crime, it means every single cent that you might have, you will end up penniless. So it is a very painful situation in to our citizens, to our colleagues who are in prison for not committing any crimes, because we know and understand there are people who are committing crimes, but they are walking free in the country. They are immune to any arrest or prosecution. But people who are decent voices or who are suspected to be government critics or aligned to Advocate Nelson Chamisa, those people, they are always prosecuted and persecuted. And you find out at the end of the day, those trumped up charges, most of the people, their cases were acquitted because the state failed to prove strong evidence against those members, because it's just a persecution. So we as citizens, we call upon the government of Zimbabwe to free the innocent people who are in prison, political prisoners who are in prison, who are incarcerated for practicing their freedom of association and freedom of expression. Over to you, Chief.
Yes, that's what is happening, and it's very painful. It's very sad. That's what I was saying, that whilst we are, there is a lot of infighting going on, a lot of bickering going on. We have people that are languishing in jail. Honorable Chibaya, Senator Timba, and many others. They are in jail. These are breadwinners, like my champion here was saying. What is happening to their families? Has anyone ever checked on Honorable Chibaya's family, on Honorable Chibaya's wife and children? The same applies to Senator Timba. What are we doing about them? Have we done anything? I know a lot of people, including our welfare attaché or secretary, Maitome, does a lot in as far as going to jail, seeing them, making sure that they have supplies. But what about their families? Are we doing anything? Are we organizing ourselves and making sure that their families continue to survive? Because these are the people that bring food on the table for their families. It's very sad. And of course, all the blame has to go to the most cruel regime in Africa, if not in the world. We used to say Robert Mugabe was cruel, and indeed he was very cruel. But this regime that we have is more than that. We fell short in terms of finding words that describe the level of cruelty that we are noticing, that we are seeing right now. These people did not commit any crime. They did not commit any crime. And like Champion was saying here, they will eventually not be found guilt of anything as has happened before. They are just languishing in jail. But when the case goes to trial, they will be found not guilty. So why is it that they are still in jail today? Why is Honorable Chibaya still in jail today? So my call is to everyone, speak up, say something about Honorable Chibaya. Let's not keep quiet. The moment we keep quiet, the moment we forget about our incarcerated comrades, it means we are just giving the regime a blank check to keep them incarcerated. If we speak up, if we continue talking about them, if we continue protesting, those who can protest, especially here in the diaspora, it keeps the regime under pressure to do the right thing and release these honorable men, because they are not guilty of anything. They are innocent, and they shouldn't be in jail as we are speaking. So let's continue to do something about our incarcerated comrades. Otherwise, it doesn't look good.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. It's our responsibility as citizens to assist our comrades and friends when it comes to such issues. When they are in trouble, we have to play a role as citizens, because we are in this struggle together. Then the other issue that we are going to talk tonight is about the wind of change in Southern Africa. As you see, 2024 is another great year, especially in Southern Africa. You find out when there was elections in South Africa, for the first time, ANC didn't make it to have a majority in parliament, and they ended up come up with the government of national unity with the Democratic Alliance and other parties. You also witnessed recently in Botswana, where the Botswana Democratic Party was at the home of Botswana for the past 58 years, but it was defeated by Umbrella Democratic for Change, led by President Duma Boko. So you find out, you also find out in Mauritius recently, there was elections where the incumbent president party, the LEPE party, lost to Alliance for Change, led by Navin Ramagulani, by 60.2%. In fact, the opposition got about 60 seats out of 62. So you find out there is a great change in Southern Africa in terms of politics. In Mozambique, there was elections in October 9, and there is crisis in Mozambique as we speak after the elections were alleged they were rigged, and there was a lot of anomalies, irregularities in the election. Even the election board of Mozambique admitted that there were some irregularities. But in Mozambique, people, they are demonstrating because they want they are fighting for the run because they are saying the election were stolen. And for sure, as you are aware, there is a lot of evidence published in the media that some of Zimbabweans were voted in Zimbabwe, in Masvingo, Bindura, Chegutu, Mutare, Chimanimani. We witnessed the Mirror newspaper published some articles and video. And some of the journalists, investigative journalists, participated in those elections because they wanted to gather more evidence. And recently this week, the Southern Africa Human Rights Commission write a report and submitted to SADC. And it is alleged in that report, the Southern Africa body is saying more than 296,000 Zimbabweans voted in these elections. And we also heard that the ZANU-PF spokesperson admitted that there are some people who voted, but he's saying there are Mozambicans and some of the ruling party senior members who are involved in this scheme. He said they are dual citizenship. They hold junior dual citizenship, which is they are Mozambicans and they are Zimbabweans. But we know that it's another way of trying to run away because the truth was published. There's a lot of evidence. As you know, people were convinced to vote for the Mozambique elections because they were promised that if you vote, you get passports so that you travel to Mozambique anytime you wish. You get Mozambican citizenship. If you want to go and stay in Mozambique, you go and stay in Mozambique. If you want a job, as you know, things are not well in Zimbabwe. So people, they expect if they get Mozambican papers, they will go to Mozambique and get jobs, especially in the Cabo Delgado, where there's a mining of gas, and the people are getting a lot of money. So yeah, it's a disaster in Mozambique, and Zimbabwe is a big suspect, and it also affects our relationship with our colleagues in Mozambique. As you know, we have a strong bond with the Mozambicans as we share borders. Secondly, it also affects our economy. You know that Mozambique, especially the Beira, is the gateway port of Zimbabwe and most imports and exports. So if there is a disturbance in Mozambique, it also affects our trade. It affects our trade. and it affects our economy. So the interference of our country in Mozambican elections, it affects the lives of Zimbabweans. Then apart from the Mozambican crisis, we also expect elections in Namibia on the 26th of November, where SWAPO, which is the ruling party since it got independence from South Africa in 1990, and they are hotly contested. These elections is hotly contested by two parties, especially the SWAPO party, which is led by their candidate Nontumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, the 72-year-old SWAPO veterinary, and the other leading contender in these elections is the leader of the Independent Patriotic for Change, Panduleni Itula. So in Namibia, anything can happen, and the opposition is a high chance of getting to power. As you are aware, in 2019, the SWAPO party lost its majority in parliament, though they got 56% of the total votes, and the opposition got about 30%. But this time around, it's obvious that SWAPO is going to retirement. SWAPO comrades are going to retirement because there is rampant corruption in Namibia. There's also allegations of political interference in the way how the election materials were acquired. Since the company which was contracted to supply election material is the same company that supplied Zimbabwean election material and is believed to be owned by the Zimbabwean entrepreneur Sewikineo. So yeah, there are some allegations in Namibia, but we are hoping, and there is high chances that the opposition will become the leading party in Namibia after 26 November 2024. Over to you, Chief.
Thank you. Very, very true. What I can summarize from what you are saying is that the winds of change indeed are blowing across Africa, and they are blowing against Zimbabwe, against in particular ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF has been trying to influence how people vote in African countries, neighboring countries, so that they can continue to get the support that they desperately need. I was speaking at one program, I think it was on VOA, and I was saying ZANU-PF is importing electoral violence from Zimbabwe to other countries. They are importing electoral, fraud from Zimbabwe to other countries. They are trying to, make every country look like Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, they failed dismally. They failed in South Africa. They failed recently in Botswana, and they are failing again in Mozambique. We know what they are trying to do in Mozambique. Even the so-called government of Zimbabwe congratulated the Mozambican government, the Mozambican ruling party, that they had already won elections even before the Electoral Commission there had declared a winner. That shows you how desperate ZANU-PF is in making sure that the ruling parties, the traditional parties, the so-called liberation movements continue to be in power. But like I said, the winds are going against the wishes of ZANU-PF. And I know very soon those winds will blow into Zimbabwe. Nothing lasts forever. Hakuna chisingaperi. And ZANU-PF are already seeing that their numbers, getting closer. Their days are getting closer. Their days are numbered. And I don't think, especially if Namibian opposition wins the 26-27 elections, it means Zimbabwe is now surrounded by, opposition movements that have taken power and that do not tolerate what is going on in Zimbabwe. We have heard the utmost support from Zambia. President Hichilema has stood, with his principles and has castigated what is going on in Zimbabwe. And now we have a new, party in Botswana, in President Duma Boko. I know definitely you also not tolerate, what is going on in Zimbabwe. Masisi was a captured president who supported the illegalities and the persecution and everything bad that is going on in Zimbabwe. Now he is gone. And in South Africa, we have the ANC being kept in check by the DA and other political parties because they no longer have a majority. And the Mozambican people have done what Zimbabweans should be doing, have done what we should all be doing, making sure that when there is electoral malpractice, when an election has been stolen, you don't stay in your home. When your parliament is being turned into a circus and your members of parliament are being illegally recalled, you don't stay in your home. When your councillors, when the people that have voted, when they see their will, what they voted for, being turned upside down, they don't stay in their homes. You go out and express your anger in the streets, not on Twitter, not on Facebook. That's what we have to learn as Zimbabweans. I know Zimbabweans don't want to hear this. Zimbabweans don't want to hear the truth, but that's the only way. There is no way we are ever going to take power. There is no way Zimbabwe is ever going to be free if we lose an election and we stay inside our homes. That will never happen. ZANU-PF will never give out power, freely like that. In any case, in any way where you have seen revolutions, where you have seen changes of government, you will never see, power being given voluntarily by the oppressor. The oppressed must demand that they get the power that they want. So let's learn lessons from what is happening in Mozambique and be ready to die for our country, be ready to sacrifice, be ready to, be shorted, be beaten up, like what we are seeing in Mozambique. Without that, I don't see any change coming to Zimbabwe. We have to do what we have to do to make sure that ZANU-PF gives up power, because they will never voluntarily give it to us. No, we have to force a transition. We have to force the transfer of power when we win elections, which we have always won. And I know we can be preparing for 2028, but if we don't have an answer to transfer of power, if we are not prepared as Zimbabweans to fight for our freedom, if we are not prepared to defend our vote, to defend the people's will, what the people would have voted for, then we should forget about the winds of change coming to Zimbabwe. Back to you, Champion.
Thank you, Chief Makukutu Chayo. I think our viewers and listeners they are vabata apo nepapo. Then the topic here, the last topic that we are going to discuss today is an issue of demolitions. Demolitions kana vanhu vachinyatsonzwa vaneona in 2005 kwakamboitika inonzi operation Muramba Tsvina yakaparadzirwa vanhu dzimba dzavo kwavaigara. Most of the more than, according to international organizations and human rights organization, more than 300,000 families were left homeless in 2005. So panotaurwa nyaya demolitions, vanhu maronda avo 2005 anotanga kumunyuka zvakare because vanozwa matambudziko akasanganidzwa nawo nguva iyoyo. So according to the Sunday Mail today and other media houses, the Harare City Mayor Jacob Mefome said about 5,000 houses to be demolished in Harare, around Harare. And so far we know and understand that kune dzimwe dzimba dzakatopwanywa around Belvedere. We heard their houses, though takazoona by the end of the week the government, especially the Minister of Housing, Daniel Gar, was saying the council demolished the houses without authority. And but the mayor said the council will continue to demolish the houses. So the challenge muvana veZimbabwe ndeyekuti hakuna munhu anoda kunogara mumvura, hakuna munhu anoda kugara pasi pemagetsi, hakuna munhu anoda kugara muchitangwena, hakuna munhu anoda kugara munzira. But the issue inofanira kuitwa nemaleaders kana kuti nevanotungamira ngave makanzuru kutanga vatsvaga what is the root causes iri kuitira kuti muZimbabwe kana kuti muHarare muve nema informal settlements akawandisa. Some of the root causes dzirimo ndedzekuti Zimbabwe Harare population is increasing each and every time. You find out in Harare, the last locations that was developed by City of Harare was Kuadzana, which was developed in late 1980s, and Budiriro, which was developed from 1990 to 1995. Those are the last locations dzakanyatso developed in City of Harare. Vanhu vakanyorerwa matsamba kunzi uyai muite interview, vanhu vakaitiswa interview, vanhu vachifollowa yainzi waiting list. Waiting list kwaive kunyoresa kwevanhu vanoda dzimba muHarare. Wapinda pawaiting list kana kwaita mastenzi kana dzimba vaishandisa inonzi FIFO. FIFO zvinoreva kuti first in first out. Atanga kunyoresa ndiye anotanga kuwana imba kana kwaita dzimba. So from then malocations iwaya apera. Hakuna mamwe malocations akagadzirwa muZimbabwe kunze kweanonzi ma-extension kana kuti ma-infill. So you find out those extensions and infill ndo dzakabereka chinonzi corruption. You find out most of the infills and extension, the beneficiaries vakanga vasingafollow waiting list, but it was about money. When you go to council wakakwanisa kuwana nebhegi rako, infill yaibuda, ma-extension aiwanika, but aiwanika ne-corruption. The issue of first in first out was abolished mu-council, but the population yakaramba ichikwira muHarare, vanhu vachishaya mukana wokuwana dzimba. Then you find out kuti zvadaro people in early 2000s, when the government, the ruling party, the opposition, in a support urban areas, ruling party makamuka chinonzi land barons aitora spaces order, because most of those land barons were members of ZANU-PF, and those guys were immune to arrest. So vaitora nzvimbo dzavada vopa vanhu vachitengesera vanhu, mungave muHarare, mungave mastate land. People they bought land nemari vanhu nenyaya yekuti vanenge vasina pekugara vaitengeserwa mastands nemari dzakadzikira. Until 2005 kwaita operation Murambatsvina, you find out that most of those settlements they were destroyed, demolished. Then after operation Murambatsvina, government initiated operation Garikai. For operation Garikai, it was not a success for operation Garikai, because you find out vaka-establish inonzi Hopely, wakaenda kuHopely iri pari kugadzirwa flyover. Look at Hopely. There is no infrastructure in Hopely. It is one of the programs, the operation Garikai. It was not a success. Wakaenda ku White Cliff. There is the White Cliff yakaitwa operation Garikai, but it was not a success because hakuna water, hakuna mvura, hakuna sewer. Then zvadaro dambudziko rekushaya kwedzimba muHarare rakaramba richikura. Then people started foot kutsvaga dzimba vachitengeserwa dzimba land barons, because land barons haana kupera, akaramba achitowanda, because those guys vakanga vasingasungwe. They were protected because they've got money. So people they end up vakutenga stands kunga land barons. So you find out problem yakaitika especially in Harare ndeyekuti there is systematic corruption in Harare. Land barons are they work in collaboration with the housing system in Harare. So you find out people, even if you go to Harare City Council which does stand, you will be referred to land baron. If you go to Harare City Council which kugara, you will be duped your money by the officials there, because they work hand in hand with the land barons. That's why you find out good people who got stands from those land barons, dzimba dzavo hadzipwanywe dzichiri kuvakwa kana kuti pachitanga mastands, dzinopwanywa kana dzapera vanhu vakugara. Why? Because pavanotenga mastands panenge pachiita flow of cash, because vamwe vanotenga mastands in cash, vamwe vanotenga in installments. So when they pay money kumaland barons, maland barons anonopawo vamwe vanhu vari musystem. So panenge pachiflowa mari, mastands iwaya habatwe. When the flow of cash stops, ndo panotanga nhamo. That's why you find out kuti vanhu vapedza mari dzavo vatenga mastands, system yaona kuti hakusisina mari iri kuuya. Then ndotanga kutaura kuti no, vanhu vari kugara muHarare zviri kunze kwemutemo vakavaka zviri kunze kwemutemo, because vakaona kuti the flow of money haisichauya musystem. Kune vanhu vakaenda kucouncil vakadyirwa mari, vakapiwa zvima-offer letter zvefake vachinzi tokupai dzimba, while it's city of Harare ndokunotarisirwa kunzi munhu anoda imba anoenda kuofisi opiwa, ndokunowanika dzimba, but you find out ndokune humwe uore huriko. Then you find out the government itself is not providing even land to council kuti ivake dzimba iservice. Even the government itself promised to develop more than 2 million houses, but as we speak, nothing is on the ground. But the population is keep on increasing. So you find out, as long as the government and the councils is not addressing the issue kuti kuve nedzimba dzinokwanisa kutengeka nevanhu varombo. Kana tichitaura varombo tikutaura munhu anotambira mari iri pasi pe$200 zvidzika. We know kuti in Zimbabwe there's open market yedzimba, but mastands ari kutengeswa muHarare nema-private developers. We find out kuti a 200 square meter cost an average of 10,000 or more, which is beyond most of the people havakwanise kuafford that money. And you find out kuti inenge chidiwa cash or it's 2 years installment. Vanhu havakwanise kubhadhara mari iyoyo. So to address the issue, it's not to demolish the houses of people. To address the issue, it's one, is to arrest the corrupt officials and land barons. 2, the government and the city of Harare should make available land for the people, and they should service those lands. 3, they should have a system, a genuine system. A person can go to city of Harare, open up a waiting list, and the waiting list yoshanda a FIFO method, which is first in, first out. Not good. Someone ended up a waiting list for 10 years. Another person anoya kuseni na 8 a.m. open up a waiting list. Na 12 p.m. anenga understand because anenga ane beg. That doesn't sauraya nyika. So the government, before demolishing the houses, they should demolish corruption in city of Harare, in any institution which involved in the allocation of land in Zimbabwe. Not to start to demolish houses. Now demolish a system aripo a corruption. I think that is the best way to address issue housing in Zimbabwe. Thank you. Over to you, Chief.
Yeah, that's a very hot issue we are discussing here, and I think it needs a program on its own so that we can also get to hear what people think about it. And personally, I've held a view that most people never liked, because that's who I am. I speak my mind. I've always, even before the councils were taken over by Shabangu, even when we're in total control of the councils, I've never defended what the councils do. If there's corruption, there's corruption. Even during the time of Morgan Tsvangirai to the time of Advocate Nelson Chamisa, I've stood with the people, because I don't see how anyone can sanitize what the council do now, before, or in future. They see the houses being built, being constructed. They see them foundation level, window level. Why do they wait until the houses are completed and then they demolish them? I know people will come with all sorts of excuses, court action, court injunctions, or whatever. But I'll never get. I don't know if anyone will ever convince me that the people, the citizens whose houses are being demolished, cannot be blamed entirely. And what makes me mad is, why is it that it is the citizens who end up suffering? You know, we have never had a council official who was fired, who was jailed. We have never had a land baron who was jailed, who was convicted when houses are destroyed or demolished. How is that possible? Because these people didn't buy houses from each other. They bought these stands from the city council. It means there is someone in the city council who is doing something that is wrong. There is someone in the city council who is doing something that is illegal. So if we are serious about resolving this issue, we need to get to the bottom. Our journalists and the people concerned, they need to investigate and find whoever sold that land, which councillor was involved, which government official was involved, because they definitely is that collusion. There is definitely that involvement. You know, we can't have citizens suffering alone. And again, I repeat, why do the councils wait until the houses are completed? We've never seen a situation where the developments or the buildings were destroyed at foundation level, because they are seeing that happening. Why don't you send your bulldozer when it is at foundation level? Why? Why wait until the houses are completed? So this is very painful, and I stand with all the citizens that that have had their houses destroyed. Now we've seen something going in social media saying 5,000 houses are going to be destroyed. And I've seen my colleagues writing in groups and everywhere saying it's Harare South, it's a ZANU-PF constituents, it's people that voted for ZANU-PF anyway. I don't agree with that. These are still citizens. These are still Zimbabweans, whether they are ZANU-PF or not. It is painful to build a house and at the end of the day have that house destroyed. This is someone who has been duped. This is someone, who got that stand. We're not even, 100% sure that everyone whose houses are going to be destroyed in Harare South voted for ZANU-PF. We are not even sure. There are smart people. There are people right now who understand that they can get the trinkets from ZANU-PF. They can get whatever they are offered from ZANU-PF. In any case, we were encouraging ourselves. We were encouraging people to take up land, to take up anything, to get the money. When we're talking about the what was it, the yellow campaign, where you see outside you are green, but inside you are yellow. We were telling people to go and get whatever they're getting from ZANU-PF. So how then now do we say all the people that are in Harare South that got stands, that benefited from these election time stands, voted for ZANU-PF? We are actually, pushing ourselves, in the mud and killing ourselves as opposition. We ran a campaign where we're saying whatever ZANU-PF comes to you with, take it. They took the stands, and we're now saying we don't care because those stands belong to people that voted for ZANU-PF anyway. That's not right. I am totally against those stands, whether they are in Harare South or in Mount Darwin, where we have many people that are assumed to have voted for ZANU-PF. I don't even believe that those constituencies, even Harare South, were won freely and fairly. I still think that there was some kind of rigging. So it's wrong to say that all those people are ZANU-PF and they deserve to have their houses demolished. And lastly, why is it that 5,000 people who allow their houses to be demolished by one person who has a bulldozer and 5 or so councillors, council police officers with dogs and baton sticks? Zimbabweans, let's wake up. This doesn't happen anyway. In South Africa, these people will be killed. These people will be burnt alive. How do you allow one person with that front end loader to destroy your house, the house that you worked for? 5,000 families. Why? They need to stand up. They need to stand up. It's not about anyone. Some people will be saying, "Oh, chief, but this is about you." Iwewe wacho uri kupwanyirwa imba, imimi wacho muri kupwanyirwa dzimba. You are 5,000. Why do we have 5,000 people getting their houses destroyed by 3 people? It doesn't make sense. People need to stand up. People need to resist. And when they do that, we need to support them. We need to have the whole country rallying behind those people, because this is cruelty in its fullest form, and it must stop. It needs to stop right now. We shouldn't have, in our situation, people having their houses destroyed. We have a bad economy. People are suffering to have these houses, to build these houses. And you have someone coming, in the morning and destroying your house in 5 hours, in a few hours, something that you worked for 5 years. That's not right.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. It's true. It's very painful. It's very painful. And what pains me a lot is at times in this situation, you find out they demolished the house today. After 2 years, you find out a new house to be built at the same place. Yakambopwanywa imba 2 years ago. Inenge yazonza tazogadzirisa. Pakutenderwa kuvaka yotengeserwa mumwe munhu necorruption. So I think the voice where Ramataura Chifrandabara, the people as citizens, the people of Zimbabwe, this is the time to say, not demolitions. Magawana Pano Plan, Wapanet was saying you have to unite, you have to keep on fighting, because it's your right. Every person has a right to shelter. It's the responsibility of the city of Harare and the government to provide shelter. And we don't expect the mayor of Harare to come in public media and say we want to demolish 5,000 houses, while he didn't never give any update on how many houses he is expecting to build in Harare during his tenure. Because he cannot funga zvokupwanya dzimba, unovana ungoone solution yekuti ndichapwanya hangu dzimba 5,000 but ndichasekanzuru tikuda kuvaka dzimba 2,000 kana kuti 10,000 in 5 years kana kuti in 2 years time. Zvinoratidza kuti yes, you are a leader akuda kutungamira vanhu and yeziva responsibility yake. Then tasvika kumaguma kwekupendera chirongwa chedu. I urge citizens, I still remember the word rakataurwa na advocate Nelson Chamisa vari kwaGutu. He encouraged us as citizens to serve in our communities, to serve in our communities, to take responsibilities in our communities, not to just to wait kuti izvi zvinofana kuitwa naningi. Kana kuti you think kuda kuzocheresa chibhorani waona kuti mucommunity mune dambudziko remvura, kana une capacity yekucheresa chibhorani cheresa, not kucheresa nekuti uda kuzoita kansela kana MP kana kuti uda kuti vanhu vazokugotera kuchiita chairman, but kuita nekuti you want to save your community. We have got our STY colleagues that tiri kuchema nadzo dziri in prison as we talk. Those people ane panapo ane mabatsiriro anokwanisa kuita, please help, please save. Ngative nemweya wekuseva in our communities, in our organization, in our churches, everywhere. That word rakataurwa na advocate Nelson Chamisa, I think every citizen has a responsibility to save in whatever capacity anokwanisa kubatsira, mungave muraini maanogara, mungave kukupi waona mwana asina bhutsu, haana bhutsu yekuendesa kuchikoro, iwe unokwanisa kumutengera bhutsu $10, buy and give him or her. Ndo zvinoitwa nema-citizens kuti nyika yedu isumukire. Tinoita ka-mentality kekuti nyika isumukire, kwete kuti izvi ndezvananingi. Mashoko enye kupedzisira chief tobva tabvara chirongwa.
Kwese pamapa kutakure nguva iyi mudzokere nawo pamwe munoti saka zvazonenoka tamirira zvinonaka imiteererai patine tazoti taakutanga ende patiri kutanga hatisi kutanga nevava vane zvekumashure aiwa tichada tinotanga nevari kuenda zviri mberi ende tinotanga nevari kuda kuti nyika ifambe zvakadii zvakanaka. Munoziva here rutsigiro rwuri munyika muno? Do you understand the leadership? Kwese pamapa kutakure